I always knew I only need one chance. I always felt I was better than everybody. I always felt all I needed was to get in there once. Just give me one shot and I'll take it home. I'll steal it every time. So when I got the call, I knew I wasn't hanging around. I was going to call out everyone in the division. I was going to make my way up to the top as fast as possible because I felt I was ready.
Your time's gonna come, but you cannot give up.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there. Some people dream of success while you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.
I now see anything is possible, that you could train for anything. You can't be the best in the world at something, but you can be a lot better than you are at anything you want to put the time into learning, whatever it is. You could do anything.
It's not the hours you put in, it's what you put in the hours. If you start depositing greater ideas into the hours you've got later than now, I'm telling you later, you can't believe the productivity that will flow. The ideas you can't think of now, a year from now, they'll start to flow. And when you deposit those ideas in the hours you've got, productivity multiplies by 2, 3, 5, 10.
Just work. And if you don't get what you thought you were gonna get, show up and still go to work. Because along the process, what's more important, what you acquire or who you become?
One thing you can't escape is that to be good at anything, you got to put the hours in. It is hard work. I mean, look, yes, people win the lottery. You hear about these crazy success stories, but they are one in literally a billion. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, the majority of people I've met who haven't inherited anything, but have just built something on their own. They've done it because they're talented, they've got great instincts, and importantly, they have really, really put the hours in.
People struggle to do things alone. And the path of the exceptional person is one of an exception, which means that you are not with other people. And rather than fighting that or bemoaning it, see it as an indicator that you're on the right path. Because if everyone else were cheering you on, then it means you're not in the right place, because it means you're just like everyone else, and that's not where you want to be.
The only thing that changes your fucking DNA is discipline.
Yes.
Discipline is the only thing that changes your DNA, man.
So if you're in the woods and you don't know where to go, start walking. You got to start walking because the perspective's not going to change. You have to start moving forward. You have to start taking steps in order to improve your vision, improve your perspective, change your perspective, make some kind of progress. And worst case scenario, you figure out that you walked the wrong direction. Okay, now you can go walk in the other direction. And that's going to be fine. But standing there lost and not doing anything is just waiting to die, waiting to starve to death. Don't let that happen.
The next year is going to go by whether you're doing something about your life or not. I mean, just sitting around dreaming someday, you know, I mean, someday I'm going to get a different job. Someday I'm going to change this. Well, someday ain't a day of the week. Look on your calendar, someday's not on there. So you got to say, okay, I'm going to take this small step by here, this small step by there, this small step by there. And then pretty soon, you know, we don't leap tall buildings in a single bound. We take it a floor at a time.
The surest way to fail at it is to quit. I said to myself at one point, okay, I'm gonna do it or die. That's it. I'll starve to death if necessary, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stick with this job. And that's my advice. Mine to you too, if you're struggling still with that idea. Don't give up. Do not give up. Sometimes things always look darkest just before the dawn.
You have to be willing to just really and throw yourself into something. And know that, especially in the beginning, there's no time to f*** off here. If you really want to do something that's really hard to do, like, you got to be all in. Because there's too many people that are all in. And you're competing with them. You're not competing with these like half-steppers, these people that are kind of dipping in and dipping out. They're there as an example for you to not live your life.
I wasn't invited to parties or friendly gatherings on the weekend. So on Fridays and Saturdays, I would go in my rec room with my basketball and basically dribble myself to sleep. And I think that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Because during those lonely hours in the rec room, I discovered the hunger, the motivation, and the desire to be the best possible basketball player that I could be.
We make choices every day.
The fact that something seems impossible shouldn't be a reason to not pursue it. That's exactly what makes it worth pursuing. Where would the courage and greatness be if success was certain and there was no risk? The only true failure is shrinking away from life's challenges. Doing what you mean to do and wanting what you want to want is so f***ing hard to do, and so rare because we're built to conform.
What would you do if you weren't afraid? And I love thinking about that when I'm thinking about big life decisions. Like, what would I do if I weren't afraid? And it's usually like the bigger thing that I really want to do, but I'm afraid to do it. It's like, that's what I should do. Fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And so it looks like this ocean that you're going to step into and drown. But as soon as you step into it, you realize it was not that deep at all, and you can keep walking through it. And I just love that visual, because a lot of times when it's like we have this anxiety around this big decision we have to make, if you actually take the step and realize that it's not death, you're not going to drown immediately. There's plenty of other steps you can take from there, even if you get a little wet.
That pain you feel, that's the pain of success. You must be willing to shoulder that pain to get to success. Success is something that's a very lonely path in this world, because few are willing to make that down payment of pain for that future of success, the better life. Very few are, because we don't want to be normal. Normality is what weak people call living. I call it death.
What do you want to be in life? And once you do that, now you can work with somebody to get better. You can work with yourself to get better. But until you know what you want to stand for, you will always just be sitting down. You'll never stand for anything.
Do the best you can. These are years that you can't get back. Saddest thing in life is wasted talent, guys.
I'm not talented. It was life and death. Either you live or you die. Which one do you want, Tom? That was the decision.
Because I hope you chase those dreams with a burning desire. With a burning desire, and through all the fire, and through all the flame, and through all the pain, I hope that you find happiness deep in your heart. I wish nothing but prosperity and abundance in your life.
Don't take today off. Not today. Wait until tomorrow. Don't give in to the immediate gratification that is whispering in your ear. Shut that down. Do not listen to that little voice. Instead, go through the motions. Lift the weights, sprint the hill, work on the project, get out of bed.
The more you do right, the more you can do. So if you're working hard at something and you're starting to feel like it's getting a bit too much, the pressure's a bit too much, you carry on doing it, you're going to come out of it. It's not like you're just going to end. Nothing ends. You just figure out different ways to actually make it successful, or something will work and you'll be like, oh, then your energy goes back up.
A blade does not become strong. It does not become tempered until it's been through the fire several times. And this is just your first or second time through the fire. And there's a lot of hammer work that has to take place. And then you're going to have to go back in the forge again. And it's hot, and it melts you down, and you're uncomfortable. And then life is going to pull you out, and it's going to put you on the anvil, and it's going to hammer on you some more. And you're going to say, what, am I done yet? Am I a sword for the ages? No. No, you're not. You're not done yet. And don't look for what you are supposed to be fully, completely polished, sharpened, edged, tempered at 26 or 36, at 46. You've got a lot more forge time left. You've got a lot more hammer blows left, and it takes time. But if you will patiently embrace the process, then by the time you get up in years, you can be a man that you're proud of.
Remember this, is that people are time wasters, and the great majority of people have no goals, they have no priorities, they have no plans, they have no concern about becoming successful, and they think that you're the same. They think because their time isn't worth anything, that your time isn't worth anything also.
A fight is not a fight until there's resistance, until there's something to overcome. You're not in a fight until there's pressure. resistance, overcoming something.
Everyone does a few reps where the burn starts and they stop. No one goes the extra mile and keeps going. Like no one's in here right now. Why? Because it's Saturday evening, everyone's going to party, no one's in here, just me. You know, no one goes the extra mile. The thing about traffic jams, guys, there are no traffic jams in the last mile of the race. It's just you and your shadow. In the beginning, everybody's there. All the pretenders and the contenders, they're all there. But the last yard of life, the last mile of the journey, ain't nobody but you and your shadow. Traffic jams don't exist that far, because everyone else has already given up.
No one's coming. No one. No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to get out the door and exercise. It's up to you.
If you don't change what you're doing and how you do it, nothing else will change.
The thing is, man, it's always going to be a party. It's always going to be a time to celebrate and a time to join friends or a day to, the bars are always open. Always open. No matter how old you are, they're always open, you know? What's not always open is the opportunity to check the box in life, achieve your dreams. That's not always open.
You get up every day, you're entitled to nothing. You could have talent, but if you don't have discipline and you don't execute, you don't focus, what do you get? Nothing. If you're complacent and not paying attention to detail, what does that get you? Nothing. So nothing is acceptable but your best. Everything is determined by what you do and you trying to be your best.
If people are succeeding in a job that they hate, think about how good you could be if it was something that you really, really cared about, as opposed to something that you detest.
If you have to ask how to get motivated to go to the gym, you don't need to be going to the gym. You don't want it enough. People that have no problem showing up to the gym are the people that want to be there.
You have to want it. You have to want to be better.
When you figure out who you are and what you want to do, and you devote your life to it, like you're all in on this thing, most of these people end up doing what they say they're going to do and being who they say they're going to become.
Astounding how many people want to be spectacular in life but also want to fit in and be normal. By being normal, you are, by definition, aiming for average.
Do the best you can. These are years that you can't get back. Saddest thing in life is wasted talent, guys.
When your excuses make you feel a little bit better about the fact that you didn't execute on what you needed to execute on, then they can make you feel better, but they're not helping you.
If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It can mean jail. It can mean derision, mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, or how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds, and it will be better than anything you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way.
If you give up on your dreams, what do you have left? Nothing. I can't live that way.
If we are obsessed with something and we truly pursue our passion with everything we have, regardless of anything else, if you are obsessed, work hard, put in the time, you will succeed.
So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself.
If you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret. And that bill from regret is generational.
Whatever I'm afraid to do, I do it. Anything I'm afraid of, I confront it. And that's my personality.
One of the strongest mental frames that has gotten me through my hardest times is thinking this will be the story that I will one day tell. And that means the harder it is, the bigger the dragon, the more epic the story, and by consequence, the more epic the hero.
There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, well, I'll never get out of this. So they won't.
You're only ever going to do the things that you feel like doing right now or that feel good right now, unless you understand that you've got to parent yourself, you got to push yourself. You're not going to make your dreams come true. You're just not. We're not wired that way. You weren't born that way, you weren't that way when you were growing up, and you're certainly not that way as an adult. And there's a tremendous amount of liberation that comes when you accept the fact that you're always going to need to give yourself a push.
Isn't it about time you become that person you knew you always could be? How do you do that? You break the fucking mold, guys. You get the out of bed when it's cold, when it's early. You do something away from the normality of what you've been doing. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result doesn't work that way. You must switch up the mainframe.
Expect big things. Think big. Think big. You can do it. You can do it. Why can't I do it? Take a little bit of piece at a time, have daily goals, monthly goals. You can make it happen. It can happen. What's impossible in your life, go after that. Have that.
The only way to become more successful than most people is to be willing to do something most people aren't willing to do.
That's why losing in life is so important. Whether it's getting dumped, getting fired, losing a game, loss, those feelings where things didn't work out your way, that's important because it lets you know this is the bad feeling that comes when it goes wrong, and you improve, and then it makes the good feelings of victory all the better.
I'm not good enough, smart enough. I'm not talented enough to do that. Some people are. Some people can start at 1. Some people don't have to start at all. If you lack talent, you can't sit back and say, I'll start in half an hour. I can't do that. I gotta start now. And after I get back from starting, I gotta start again.
The big challenge is when you're not willing to do something, but you have to do it. You have to challenge yourself to be consistent. Sometimes it's hard because everyone wants to be Cristiano, but I give you the map. You think you will do it that? It's difficult. It's
the discipline.
The discipline is the most difficult thing, not only in the sports, but in the life.
So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself.
Resolve says I will. Nothing can resist a human will that will stake even its existence on the extent of its purpose. The world has a strange way of stepping aside when somebody says, I'll do it or die. The man says, I will climb the mountain. They've told me it's too high, it's too far, it's too rocky, it's too difficult, it's never been done before, but it's my mountain, I will climb it. Pretty soon you'll see me waving from the top. Or dead on the side, because I ain't coming back.
One of your quotes is, when you're winning, you're not as good as you think you are. When you're losing, you're not as bad as you think you are. What's that mean to you?
When you're winning, everybody's telling you how amazing you are. Oh my God, let me tell you, dude, you know what? You're the best. You're amazing. You know, you're just better than that guy, and you're better than this guy. And it always takes me back to that quote of Marcus Aurelius, who had a slave that would sit behind him and always whisper to him, hey,
you're just a man.
Everyone's like, oh, later in life, I want to do this. Later in life, I want to do that. Later in life is turning around, looking in the mirror right now. That's the later in life. And unless that turnaround is something in progression, later in life ain't gonna be anything different.
If you worked hard enough, if you dreamed big enough, if you were tough enough and you made yourself tough enough, you sacrificed enough, you became polished and just worked yourself to the bone. No matter where you came from, if you made yourself and took advantage of that opportunity and got yourself ready, and you were ready to behave like a champion, you could get in that ring on one given night and make the world fair and have your hand lifted and be called champion of the world.
The man who never fell has no glory. The man who fell and got back up, that's where his glory is. The man who fell 20 times and got up 21 times, that man has even greater glory. Wow. That man has more courage, way more courage than the guy who was so strong from birth that he never failed.
Everybody has a turn back moment. You have a moment where you could go forward or you can give up. But the thing you have to keep in mind before you give up is that if you give up, the guarantee is it will never happen. That's the guarantee of quitting, that it will never happen no way under the sun. The only way the possibility remains that it can happen is if you never give up no matter what.
Anything in life that you put your mind to, you can do. The world is your oyster. That's all I tell people. It's this and it's heaven. While you're on earth, you got to take advantage of this.
Yo, we all are great. We all should think that we're great. There's no reason for you to not think that you're great. If you don't think you're great, ask yourself why. Why don't you think the highest of yourself?
Champions find a way to make it happen. No matter how long it takes, they find a way.
When you're the absolute best, you get hated on the most. But never stop fighting. No matter what anyone says, no matter how they try to compromise you, compromise your vision. If it's in your gut, if it's in your soul, there's no worldly possessions that should come between you and your expression. Death is promised.
You're crazy until you're successful, then you're a genius. And I think for a lot of people, when you're grinding as a small channel, people think you're too obsessed. You're a weirdo. Stop only making videos. Like, get a life. Be realistic. People will convince you you're out of your mind for wanting to do this. But then once you're successful, they're like, yo, your drive, your tenacity was great. But it's like, yeah, well, where was that back then?
Two of the biggest things I took away is the humbling reality that I'm not special. And if you want to be good at anything, you have to work really hard.
Act like the person you want to become. That's not fake it till you make it, by the way. This is intentional. Intentionally act like the person you want to become. Because when you intentionally act like the person you want to become, your brain sees you taking those actions, so your brain starts to change the way it relates to you.
My brain can feel a certain way, but it's not going to choose how I behave all the time. I just can't let it do it anymore. I'm going to have setbacks, I know. But if I'm feeling bad, that doesn't mean I'm doing bad. That doesn't mean I am bad. That doesn't mean that I can't still take some action. Because nothing changes and nothing changes, man.
I don't quit. I may not make it the first time, but I'll come back.
You don't start things and not finish them. You don't quit. There's nothing that comes out of quitting besides knowing that you didn't finish.
If you quit now, you're gonna fucking be a loser your entire life. That's it. We don't get what we always want. And to get what we always want, we have to be so much better that it's unquestionable.
We all fall down in life. The question is, who gets back up? You go after and you give it all you have. If you lose, at least you tried, man. I failed is 10 times more of a man than someone said, what if? Because what if never went to the arena.
I'd rather go too far than not far enough.
I want it to just go the distance. I want it to feel something besides defeat.
The only reward that you get from taking it easy is the fact that in the moment, it's easier. But if you want results, and then you basically just catch yourself slacking off and don't do anything about it, then it kind of sounds like you don't really want those results,
You have to discipline yourself. Go do something. Do the best thing that you can think of. Put the best plan you have into practice. It's not going to be perfect, and it will change along the way, but it will change partly because you become disciplined pursuing the path. And as you become disciplined, you become wiser. And as you become wiser, you become able to formulate better and better plans.
Believe in yourself without a doubt. And don't rely on anybody to believe in you. Don't rely on anybody to push you or make you better. Believe in yourself and only yourself.
The confidence comes from preparation. When I'm prepared, I know what I'm capable of doing, I know what I'm comfortable doing, and I know what I'm not comfortable doing. And so in those moments, if it looks like I'm ice cold or not nervous, it's because I've done it thousands of times before, and so it's one more time.
You need to take action, the things that are in your control. You need to execute on those, and that's the key to avoiding these ups and downs.
It's either you have it or you don't.
That sounds like excuses to me. I mean, you got to figure it out, right? If you really have an obsession to figure it out, you will figure it out, right? And every puzzle is constructed differently. All right, AI's situation when he came into the league was different than mine. Mike's situation in Chicago was different than mine. Right? Everybody has a different puzzle, man. You just got to figure out your own puzzle.
Success in fighting in life is about desire and the will. How bad do you want it? Is it worth dying for? That's the true greatness, is the willingness to die. So is this thing worth greatness?
Bro, you gotta f***ing stop. You gotta stop with all this I can't catch a break bullshit. All the time you're complaining, you could be instead hustling. You could be instead chasing your dream. You could be instead figuring out what you're doing wrong, trying to improve certain aspects of your life, getting your shit together, reading a book, meditating, something. And that's how you do it. You go and get after it. You don't make any excuses.
Impossible is nothing to somebody that tries. Everything that someone said was impossible has happened.
Effort, dedication, work hard, because the talent is not enough anymore. And if you're not dedicated 100%, you're not gonna reach the level that you want.
You gotta be selfish. I don't give a f. It's the sacrifice, but without great sacrifice and without great risk, there is no such thing as great reward.
If you want to be really great at something, you kind of have to be out of your fucking mind, but you also have to have an iron will.
Whenever you try to do something out of the ordinary, people will line up to tell you that you can't do it, why you can't do it, that you'll lose your time, you'll lose your money, that you will, in effect, die in the desert. Even people who should know better will try to discourage you.
Dedication, hard work, dedication, hard work. I'm a one-man army. One-man army. The world can go against me. I'm still come on top. I got God on my side.
To achieve anything great or worthwhile, you must train yourself to rise above these people, ignoring them and pressing on towards your goal regardless.
When your excuses make you feel a little bit better about the fact that you didn't execute on what you needed to execute on, then they can make you feel better, but they're not helping you.
Everything worthwhile is uphill. And the only way that you can go uphill is to be intentional. Nobody ever accidentally went uphill. You've never talked to a successful person and said, how did you get to the top of the mountain? And then look at you and say, I have no idea. If they're at the top of the mountain, they know how they got there. Because they had to have effort. It took energy. It took time.
I will be the one that is physically harder and mentally stronger, and I will work to maintain that position. You won't beat me. If knocked down, I will get back up every single time. That no matter how many times I was knocked down, that I would muster enough strength to get back on my feet and get in the fight. I will draw on every remaining ounce of strength to accomplish the mission. I am never out of the fight. I demand discipline and innovation from myself.
You can have what you want in 5 years, but there's 2 conditions. You have to know what it is, and you have to aim at it.
I'm a go-getter. I'm a winner, and I'm gonna always find a way to come out on top, no matter what position you put me in.
Obsession's gonna be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed?
And when you have goals that are maybe outside your reach, you have to know that getting to that goal, you're gonna have a lot of bad days.
You cannot erase the work ethic part. There is no getting around. Ain't no elevator to the top. You got to take the stands.
The world doesn't care what you did, it only cares what you're doing now.
The hardest things are usually the best. If it's easy, leave it to somebody else.
Do you know that the harder thing to do and the right thing to do are usually the same thing? Nothing that has meaning is easy.
But you have a choice to make. Do you want to sit down and go back to that guy you once were? No. So this is what it takes.
You don't look at the man you want to be in 20 years. You only have to fix one thing today. Am I a man that I can like and respect today? And when you go to bed at night, look back on the day and say, how did I do today? And then go to bed and go to sleep. Wake up in the morning and say, all I got to do is be the best man I can be today.
We don't get what we always want. And to get what we always want, we have to be so much better that it's unquestionable.
You're going to go through this pain. You're going to go through the suffering. How are you going to choose to show up?
The bad days create the story that I'm one day going to tell myself about what I got through. Without the bad days, there would be no glory in overcoming anything, because what did you overcome?
When you're going through something really challenging, how do you show up within it? Do you choose to become a victim of complaining and misery or do you find meaning in how you show up in the suffering?
Unchosen suffering is going to happen, right? So the only thing that you can do is have some chosen suffering to prepare for it.
It's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing you can practice for the unchosen suffering. Do something that sucks every day.
A lot of people wait for perfect conditions to start, but don't realize that starting is the perfect condition.
Almost all of the people around you who have parts of their life that they're not happy about are kind of making a choice for it to be that way. That means that all of the things I don't like about me and I don't like about my life are my responsibility, because I can change it.
You gotta be willing to fail. If you can't fail, what I learned in the gym is you gotta go out there and fail. You gotta go out there and fall down. Most people who have won big have failed big. I want that. I want you to fail, and I want you to get up and do it again. The same thing in life is the same thing here. If you can do this, you can do anything. Anything. Right now, you're 5% away. 5% away from being a champion.
The most important question that you have to ask yourself in life is, how badly do you want what you want? How badly do you want it? Or do you want it at all? You see, there's an awful lot of people who want an awful lot of things. But how badly do they want it? If you want it so badly, if you want it with tremendous intensity of desire, there's really nothing in the world that can stop you from getting it.